Jai Shri Ram. Welcome all of you all for our weekly Ramayan Katha. So, just started. So, before we start, as usual, let's start with the salutations. There are various salutations which we do before we start our Ram Katha. Salutations to Ganesha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Sabhaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Gajanam Bhut Ganati Sevidam Kapita Jambu Palasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shok Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam. Salutations to Sage Valmiki. Pujantam Ram Ramiti Maduram Maduraksharam Arugya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmiki Muni Simhasaya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shanvan Ram Kathanadam Konayati Paramgatim Ya Pivan Satatam Ramcharitamrita Sagaram Atriptastam Munim Vande Prachit Sakalmasham Yavat Sthayati Giriya Saritascha Mahitale Tavat Ramakatha Lokeshu Pracharashyasi. Salutations to Lord Hanuman. Goshpadi Kurutvarisam, Maski Kurut Rakshasam, Ramayanam Mahamalam, Ratnam Vande, Anil Atmajam. Anjana Nandana Veeram, Janaki Shokanasanam, Kapisam Akshahantaram, Vande Lankam Bhayankaram, Manojama Marutulya Vegam, Jitendriyam Buddhimadam Varishtam, Vatatmajam Vanaritham Mukhyam, Sri Ramadutam Sirsam Namami. Yat Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Krutmaskanchilim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namat Rakshasantakam Ullanda Sindhu Salilam Salilam Yatha Shok Vahim Janak Atmaje Adharatena Eva Dada Lankam Namamitam Prananjali Anjaneyam. Salutations to Lord Rama. Om Apadam Apartaram Dataram Sarva Sampadam Lokabhiramam Sri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamiham Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Karunataya Nataya Sitapate Namaha Nilambuja Shamala Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Pano Mahashekascha Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuamshanatam Ved Vedya Parepum Si Jate Dasrat Atmaje Ved Prachita Dasida Sakshat Ramayana Atmana Vaidei Sahitam Sudurmatale Haime Mahamandape Madhya Pushpakamase Manimay Virasane Shushtitam Agre Vacheti Prabham Janasute Tatvam Munibhyam Param Vakyam Vyakyantam Bharat Adibhi Parivratam Ramam Bhaje Shamalam. So we have completed the first 4 shlokas, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, 1 to 4 we have completed. The first was an inquiry asked by Valmiki Muni to Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is being questioned because, and there the qualities of Narad Muni is being highlighted, that he is tapasvi, Vangvidham, all the various qualities which a spiritual master should have. Then in shloka number 2, 3, and 4, Valmiki describes the various qualities of a person, and he wants to know, does such a person exist? And the problem with these qualities is not that it's unique, they are contradictory. I hope all of you all remember what we discussed last session. There's some of you all. There were a lot of contradictory qualities which Narad Muni was questioned by Valmiki. And what are these contradictory questions? Let's just go through the qualities first so that we know how they can be considered as contradictory. Gunavan, Saushilyam, Viryavan, Dharmagyasya cha, Kritagyasya cha. Now, Virya means heroic, and he has to be grateful. Why would he be grateful when he himself is a hero? Please understand, these qualities are something which are very, very contradictory. Secondly, Satyavako, Dridavataha, Charitrena, good conduct. Then, Sarvabhuteshu Hita, Vidwan, Samratascha, Priyadarshinaha, Atmavan, Jitakrodaha. How can one be heroic at the same time Jitakrodaha? Without anger, one cannot fight and be heroic. Then, Dyutiman, should be effulgent. Anusuyakaha, free from envy. In material world, if someone is having little vidwan, becomes a doctor or an engineer or some great education qualification, if he possesses, how egoistic a person becomes. He forget about other people. He doesn't even talk to his own people, his own friends. He starts, making a demarcation that I have achieved something great. I'm on a different realm, on a different platform altogether. And Kasya Bibichi Devasaha. This is the last and the most unique. Which human being possesses a quality which will make him different from God or Devatas? Only God alone will be feared by the Devatas. No human can put fear in the heart of any Devata, because Devatas are much, much superior beings and they are respected. One should always respect Devi Devas. Without their mercy, we can't live any life. But the Supreme, as a Supreme God, there is only one personality, and that is Lord Vishnu, Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, whatever you mean. It's the same. There's no unique, there's no difference. It's the same. Many people ask me, sir, how do you consider Lord Rama as your God? But he himself was, very weak, and he could not protect his own wife. Where is the question of protecting us when he could not protect his own wife? Please understand. It was, Acharya say very beautifully. Sita Maya had actually gone over to Lanka to preach. She tried to make him a good devotee. And Lord Ramchandra also gave him some time. Let me see if he changes. So Lord was also giving us a human birth and some duration for us to change. But it is left to us whether we want to change or we don't want to change. This is where the biggest human quality, or rather, the mercy of God on human beings. So now we take verse number 5, where etad ichhami aham shrutum param kautuhalam. This is param kautuhalam. He may Maharashya Tvam Samartasi Jantu Gyanatum Eva Vidham Naram. Here, Narad Muni is Valmiki Muni is further saying, "Oh great sage," he's addressing Narad Muni. "I desire to hear this beautiful this because I am extremely curious to know. Only you and know such a person." The word Kautuhalam is very, very important. I'm curious. So what does this word curious actually mean? We all want to know about God, but only the curious can achieve or get the real knowledge about God or get the real identification of God. Otherwise, करना है, devotion करना है, bhakti करना है, but the problem is I don't have time, or I have got other commitments, or I am already busy with something else. So the point is, he is showing that he is telling Narad Muni that I am having enthusiasm, curiosity, and I'm curious to know who that God is. वो भगवान कौन है मैं जानना चाहता हूँ. Secondly, he says you are the competent person. Samrattasya si, you are the competent person. What does this indicate? When we inquire, we should inquire from a person who is competent. We can't inquire from any Tom, Dick, and Harry. The problem is many people just want to know about God, but they want to ask some person, some Tom, Dick, and Harry, who is half knowledge or not knowledge. I come across many people, in my preaching program. I come across many people जो आके मुझे कुछ ना कुछ keep on asking me, सर ऐसा मैंने सुना था, ऐसा हमने सुना था. Last session, one Mataji asked me, Prabhuji, it is said like this. I said, what is there in actual in Ramayana and what is prevalent in the people's notions in the people is totally different. जो एक्चुअल रामायण में है वो चीज ही अलग है, जो लोगों के धारणा में है completely. And that's one of the purpose of this Ramayana Katha sessions which we are taking. We want to make this doubts clear. Everything has to, unless and until one doesn't have a clarity, he cannot know about God. And this is one of the most genuine question. Enthusiasm. If you all say we want to know God, then the first quality you got to inculcate is curiosity and enthusiasm. Curiosity and enthusiasm in the true sense. Sahi bhav mein, sahi margdarshan. Now, what is this curiosity? I'll tell you all a small story. It's a very important story, and it's a true story. One of Ramacharya's Shishyas, this is from the Sri Sampradaya. So, Parashar Muni, Parashar Bhatta was, when Parashar Muni was there, he was staying near Srirangam. And one of his devotee or student wanted to know about actual qualities. What are the qualities a devotee should have? So he said, okay. He said, you will have to go and take this answer from one of my Shishya, my god brother, who was staying in Tirupati. He was Anantacharya. Anantacharya was the one who was serving Lord Balaji in Tirupati. I mean, if I don't know, many people must have gone to Tirupati, but we're not knowing so many Leelas Lord Balaji has done with Anantacharya. A lot of places. Still, there are many places are there where you can go and see those Leela Sthalis are there. Even the Pushkarani lake, or the small pond which is there outside the temple, was dug by Anantacharya. So he, in those days there was no flights and trains and buses, so he walked all the way from Srirangam to Tirupati, and then he climbed up the mountain, finally reached met Anantacharya, and he asked, I have a question. What are the true qualities in a devotee? What qualities a devotee should really have? Anantacharya said, oh, very well, I'll tell you, but first take some rest. You come from a long journey, so refresh yourself, and you can stay here for a few days, do some seva, do some services, and I'll tell you, don't worry, not so big hurry. So somehow the devotee stayed over there, did a lot of seva, was happy serving him, but he was wondering, when is Anantacharya going to give him his answer? So days went back, 2 months happened, but this fellow was only doing seva, various sevas in the temple, and was not given the answer. One fine day, Anantacharya called him. I said, tomorrow we are having a lot of devotees coming. Sadhus are going to come. So there's going to be a big feast. We're going to make a big feast. So I want you to cook. One of the cook, you should also be one of the cook, making some nice feast and then serving all the sadhus. I want you to serve them. He said, fine. So early morning we started cooking seva, and then finally in the afternoon the sadhus came. He served them very nice dishes, and all the service was done. Finally, it was evening, late evening, almost it was 6 o'clock. He didn't have a morsel of food right from morning, and evening at 6 o'clock, when he was about to have his meal, he had just prepared his plate. He was about to have his meal. That time, Anantacharya came, and he said, you had asked me some question, right? You wanted some answer, right? You were asking about a question about qualities of a devotee. And immediately that devotee just sprung up from the table, where he was sitting with the food, the meal, immediately got up. Said, no problem, I'm not going to start with the food. I'm getting the answer. My purpose of coming here is going to be fulfilled. He immediately sprang up, though he was tired, totally drained out, but still he jumped up and immediately went to Anantacharya. Anantacharya said, okay, I'll tell you. The qualities of a devotee should be, he should be like salt. He should be like a crane. He should be like a chicken. And he should be like you. Now this poor fellow was wondering, what is this answer I'm getting after so many months of service and breaking my back and serving so sincerely. And today was the worst part. The whole day I've been serving like hell. And in the evening, when I'm about to get the answer, that time, the final answer I'm getting is so ununderstandable. I said, don't worry, go to Prashar. He will explain to you. So next day morning, he wound up his luggage, started his journey back to Srirangam, which took another couple of days, for a number of days. And finally he reached him. And there Parashar asked him, so you got your answer? He just looked at him. What answer? After all the service I did for so many days, I just got an ununderstandable answer. I don't know why you sent me all the way there. Hey, don't worry, what did he say? He said you should be like salt. You should be like you should crane. You should be like a chicken. You should be like me. That is, I should be. It should be like me. I didn't get the qualities. I didn't get the answer. He said, "Don't worry, it's a coded language. I'll decode it for you." Then he decoded for him. He told him, first and foremost, salt. Salt. What is the purpose of salt, or what is the work of salt? You make a delicious food, the best of the food, and just one component, the salt is less. How tasteless the food will be. And just imagine, excess of it also is bad, but less, you really can't eat it. Second, the most important part of it, all will praise your food. Suppose any Mataji cooks a nice food, let's say pav bhaji or anything, any nice dish, and the spices are perfect. The roasting is very nice. The cooking is very nice. But does anyone praise the salt? Does ever the salt get some recognition? Wow, salt, you have played a very nice role. You say, no, you put the perfect spices, the elaichis was good, the clove was good, the dalchini was good, everything was very nice. You will praise the spices, you will praise the cook, but never does even the vessel sometimes gets praising, but the salt never gets praise. But without it, just mind you, if everything is perfect, but the salt is little less, the blemish is on the salt. Arey, namak kam hai. It's very bad, tasteless. So what do we take from this? One has to serve in such a way that even if you don't get any recognition, you continue your service. Generally, people try to do service, might be to an organization or even spiritual service, but they want some recognition. I've done so much, I've done this much. I need some recognition. I've given so many years, I've given so many time, and still I don't get this recognition. Yes, that's the first quality in a devotee. He doesn't look out for recognition. He does the service just because Lord loves it. Second, he should be like chicken. Now, what does that chicken mean? Seen chicken and hen eating, even on the ground, they will search, they will scrap the earth, and whatever rubbish may be, it will perfectly the grain of its choice and leave the rest of the trash. This is the quality of a chicken or a hen. And this is what a devotee should also do. You should be not worried. People come up with, sir, I heard that this organization has this problem, that organization has this problem. In this organization, there is politics, there is this and that. Don't be worried about all that. You be focused on what you need. Similarly, a crane stands in the water on one leg and looks out for its prey. And where are the prey moving around? Around its leg. The fishes are moving around its leg, but it is standing on one leg. It never picks up a very small fish. If a small fish has come, it leaves it. If a very big one, which he can't eat, he leaves it. But the right fish, when it comes, he immediately picks it up and follows it. He doesn't wait for a split second also. What does this mean? There are a lot of philosophies moving in and around you. What is the purpose of these philosophies? I'm not debating whether they are right or wrong, but what is to be understood is these philosophies have their own relevance. Is it right for you? Like many people sit in debate, God is without form. Some people say God is form with having a form. Some people say God is formless. In fact, when we are discussing now about the qualities and about the person whom Valmiki is inquiring, it's a person with form. So God is having a form. And I've already discussed in the earlier lecture how Lord is with form at the same time. He's formless. That is why I've given you I've given you the example of a potter and mud. A potter is a person who's having a form, but he makes with the mud, he gives it a form. He gives it a form of a pot. But in case of God, Lord is the potter also, and Lord is the mud also. So, let's not deviate from our topic today. So, there are a lot of philosophies. Some are good, some are bad, but you should be smart enough to pick it up the right one. And lastly, he said, he should be like you. Means, though he was tired, that whole day he was withered out, he was totally drained, but still, when he came to give him the answer, he got up with enthusiasm, curiosity, and he wanted the answer. So same way, every spiritual master searches for a student who is enthusiastic and curious. And here in this shloka, we see Valmiki mentioning this word. I'm curious to know about it. And you are the right person to tell. Means what? You should know to identify the right person. And who is the right person? A spiritual master. Without a spiritual master, one can never achieve any knowledge about God. Forget about God. I've seen many people, attending spiritual lectures and discourses, but they never want to venture into having a spiritual master in their life. They say all spiritual masters are thugs, thieves, chores. No doubt. Few of the so-called spiritual masters are behind the bar. They're in the jail. But that doesn't mean all are bad. I'll put it a very simple word. There are some bad doctors in the market, right? But for that sake, when you fall sick, have you stopped going to the doctor? Many a times we have eaten food outside and got some loose motion or food poisoning, but have you stopped eating outside? You may have stopped that restaurant or that joint, but you've not stopped eating. Similarly, there may be a few spiritual masters in the past or might be in the future who have deviated from the route. But that doesn't mean all spiritual masters are bad. So, continuing further, we should have enthusiasm and curiosity and ask a competent person. And thus invited by sage Valmiki with delight, Narada, the knower of the three worlds, then said, listen to me. Now here, the most important word is invited. Amantraya, the word in the shloka is amantraya, means what? A spiritual master of his own doesn't speak. One has to inquire. The entire Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the inquiry about Arjuna and answers by Krishna. So more a student inquires, the more the answer he gets, and more he can be knowledgeful. So if you want to have knowledge, the slogan is one should inquire from the right person. So he was invited, and that's why Narad Muni said, okay, listen to me. So the explanation given is a spiritual teacher, guru, must be properly approached as done by sage Valmiki. When happy with the disciple, the spiritual teacher gives the real knowledge of God to him. So, as I mentioned, as you all say, I need a right spiritual master. I need a qualified spiritual master. The question arises, are you a qualified disciple? And if you are, how can you identify if you are having these qualities? This is what the greatness of Valmiki Ramayan. It teaches you what is the actual quality both the parties should have. We generally inquire, oh, this person is not good enough to answer my question. I am as if you are a great personality to inquire. So finally, Narada speaks. Bhavo durlabhas chaiva eteva krita guna durlabha. Narada is saying, you have asked me something which is rarely found. And then Muni Vakshyami Aham Budva. Muni means he's addressing Valmiki. Vakshyaham, I am speaking, listen and understand, knowing well. Ter yukta shriyataha naraha. Saying those qualities which are endowed in a human being, in a man. I'm telling you that qualities. Now I'm going to speak. So Narada says, oh, sage Valmiki, the qualities which you have mentioned are many and rarely found in men. However, I am aware of one who has all these qualities. Listen carefully. That is why I started today's lecture by this saying that these qualities are contradictory. The qualities which Valmiki had inquired were contradictory, and this can be only be found in the Supreme Lord. सिर्फ भगवान में ही मिलता है और किसी के अंदर एक क्वालिटी नहीं मिलेगा. Lastly but not the least, please understand, one may have some heroism, one may have some truthfulness, one may have some dridavata, one may have some what do you say, kritagyanas, gratefulness may have, or he may be righteous. Some may be righteous people. We know many people who are righteous, they by the rule book, they go by the rule book, fine. But when it comes to point of distress, difficulty, the bright chances that people may divert. Of all, the last quality which was inquired was, who is the one from whom devatas are afraid? And devatas are afraid only and only from the Supreme God. From this questions and the qualities asked in this question, we understand Valmiki was inquiring about the Supreme. And that should always be a hunt in a human's. There's a first they say Vedanta Sutra, which says Atato Brahma Jigyasa. What is that? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Who am I? From where have I come? What is my purpose on this earth? And where will I go after death? And if this Jigyasa is not there, a person is as good as an animal. Shastra says animals and human beings are common. Both have the same qualities. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. 4 things common between humans and animals. Then what makes you different? Dharma, Ek Vishesho. If you have dharma, that is special. And dharma means duties. Dharma means inquiring about the Lord. And that makes you special. Otherwise, dharma-hina. Dharma adhika vishesho. Dharma is something which is adhika, which is special in existing in humans. Dharma-hina, those people who don't inquire about God. Dharma-hina pashu bin saman, is as good as a pashu, an animal. So, inquiry from the Supreme Lord or from the right person is always good. I'll tell you one small story. You all must have heard about Tulsidas ji, who was also who was the main creator of Ramcharitmanas, which is a subshoot of Adhyatma Ramayana. Okay, so when Tulsidas ji, how did he become a devotee? He was highly attached to his wife. He was not a devotee in the initial stage. He was highly attached to his wife. So once when he used to always stay in the house looking at his wife. One day his wife got fed up. She told him, please go and earn some penny and come. I'll cook some food for you. Go and come. She was only his whole day job was to admire his wife. Great Tulsidas ji, mind you, these personalities are teaching us a lesson. He was not a crazy man, but we're learning lessons from this. And finally, one day, suddenly something went wrong in his wife's mother's house. So, and Tulsidas that day only had gone, after so much of pestering, he had finally gone to earn some money. And that time, she told him, he had gone, when she had gone out, when he had gone out, those relatives from the mother's side, his wife's mother's side, had come. And they said, someone has died, you will have to come. Who said, how will I inform my husband? She said, don't worry. The neighbor said, I will inform your husband, you go leave. It's urgent. So immediately she went. And that day evening, when Tulsidas ji came back, and he realized that his wife has left for her mother's house, he became mad. How can I live without my wife? I cannot stay without seeing her for even an hour. That's the question of how many days she's going to come. I don't know. I'll have to go. And that day he immediately left towards his in-law's place. And that day it was raining cats and dogs. The river was overfull. He had to cross the river and go the other side. The boatsman said, no, sorry, I can't take you. The river is flowing full. I can't carry you the other side. Immediately, he was wondering. He was hellbound on reaching the other side. Suddenly, he saw a small raft-like thing coming. He jumped on that. And with the help of that raft, somehow crossed that overflowing river. Least did he realize that he was sitting on a dead body. It was not a raft, it was a dead body. But thinking it was a raft because he was so focused on achieving his wife. He reached the other side, somehow managed to reach her house, and she was staying in the upper floor. So he wanted to go up, and it was middle of the night. He didn't want to knock the door. Suddenly, he was wondering how will he climb up. He saw some rope dangling from the balcony. So he caught hold of the rope and somehow went up. Least did he realize that it was not a rope, it was a snake. He went inside the house, and there, Ratnavali was there, his wife. She was shocked to see him in the middle of the night, reaching over there. He said, boy, what brought you here? He said, my love to you has pulled me. How did you come in this rain, and how did you cross the river and come in the middle of the night? No, I don't know. I was mad for you. And I reached. Immediately, wife said, if you have little madness like this for God, it would have been better for you. For this body, which is a bag full of pus, urine, and stool, that's what our body is meant of, right? Pus, urine, and stool. That's it. Our body smells. Every hour you take a bath, still your body smells obnoxiously. That's why we need perfumes to keep ourselves smelling good. That body was attracted to, and she really fired him. And she told him, Joe, have that much of courtesy. If you have even 50% of what attraction you're having towards me, towards Lord Rama, your life will be more happier. And that day triggered. It triggered Tulsidas ji, and he said, no, I will change. And he diverted the same attraction which he had towards his wife to search for God. That's the greatness. We all are somewhere or the other attracted towards this material world, trying to enjoy it. But the minute someone in your life, some friend, some acquaintance, someone tells you the path of devotion, the true path of devotion, immediately, without a second thought, one should take that path. One should embark on the route towards spirituality, because that is what is the ultimate truth. Rest, whatever you are acquiring or whatever you are trying to endeavor for, is going to be a big zero at the time of death. But Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of dharma, bhakti, will save you at the time of death. And the best part is, whatever pious activities you do, it comes with you after death. And the non-pious will take you only to hell. That's for sure. And that is how Tulsidas ji developed that love for Lord Rama. So now the bigger question for him was, how will I get God? मुझे भगवान कैसे मिलेंगे? So when he was in that same thought process, he was going through a big banyan tree. And there he was having some water in his kamandalu. He emptied that water in the tree, just threw it in the water on the tree. And there was a ghost living in the tree. And the ghost was very thirsty. When it got the water, it was very thankful. He said, thank you. You have quenched my thirst. I will quench your thirst. So Tulsidas ji said, my thirst is, I want to get God. How many of us are really thirsty for God? You want to Google God, but we are not thirsty for it. You want to know information about God, but I tell you one thing. Information, when you get in the satsang, in the classes, the discourses, is meant to give you some transformation. What is the use of discourses if it doesn't transform you? If it is only information, information without transformation is a weight on the head. Information without transformation is just a weight on the head. You know what is good and what is bad, but you don't want to follow it. You don't want to transform yourself. It's a big waste. So he was wondering. So he told the ghost, yes, I'm thirsty about God. I want to find God. The ghost said, see, you want to find Ramchandraji, right? Yes. I want to find Ramchandraji. You cannot get Ramchandraji. I said, why? I don't know how to get. Then what is the use? But I can show you tell you about the person who can take you to Ramchandraji. Okay, can show me the person. Please tell me who is that person who can take me to Lord Rama. That, see, why don't take me to him? He said, no, I can't take you. He's a very deadly person. You know who he is? भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे. भूत पिशाच. Who is afraid of भूत पिशाच?
हनुमान जी.
हनुमान जी. हनुमान जी से सब भूत पिशाच डरते हैं. Ghosts are afraid of Hanuman ji. I said, Hanuman is the right person who can take you to Lord Rama. He said, Acha, now how will I find him? Where will I find him? He told him, see, this we will have to understand through one of our salutations. I'll tell you the page number. Please go to page number 9 in your PDF. Yatra yatra Raghunath Kirtanam tatra tatra kritumaskaanjidam Bashpavari Paripurnalochanam Maruti Namat Rakshasantakam. So the first two lines is very important for us. Yatra yatra Raghunath Kirtanam tatra tatra kritumaskaanjidam. Wherever there is Ram Katha, wherever it may be, the whole globe, wherever it may be, there, tatra tatra, yatra yatra, tatra tatra. Very beautiful shloka. The grammar of the Sanskrit is very beautiful. Yatra yatra Raghunath Kirtanam. Wherever Raghunath Kirtanam means glories of Lord Rama is being discussed. Tatra tatra Kritakamastakanjalim. With folded hands, Hanumanji is sent. So he told him the secret. Ek kaam karo. I'll tell you one place there in Kashi. You go there. There Ram Katha is going on. And in that Ram Katha, you will get Hanumanji. It said wherever Hanuman Katha happens, Ram Katha happens, Hanumanji is always there. There is one seat kept vacant for Hanumanji. Don't worry, even in this class also, somewhere, unseen by us, Hanumanji will be listening. Because he likes to listen to the glories of Lord Ram. That's an identification of a true devotee, true Rasik. And then he said, okay, fine, there will thousands of people will be coming in the Ram Katha. How will I identify who is Hanuman? The identification is very simple. One who comes first in the Ram Katha and one who goes last from the Ram Katha, he is Hanuman. What did the Ghost say? One who comes first and leaves the last, he is Hanuman. Immediately, Tulsidas ji said, fine, I'll try to find out. What does this mean? The quality of a devotee is explained here also. Who is curious to know what is going to be spoken about God or what glories are going to be sung. He is anxious. We are on dot or before time for a movie, on dot or before time for a party. But when it comes to Katha, how much relevance and importance do we give? How much do you think, yes, we can understand God, or we should at least endeavor to try to know more about God? How many times do we actually do this? Hardly. Because we are not interested. We don't have that curiosity. And that is why the purpose of telling the story is the quality of Valmiki and quality of Tulsidas ji. Both were eager. And when you're eager, you're ready to take pains. Somebody may say, sir, where is the time for us to take all this eager pain? Tell me, if there is an important meeting at the office and you have to fly tomorrow morning and catch the morning's 5 o'clock flight, would you not get up early and run? Would you not, if you're a businessman, you're going to get a big order, would you not get up early in the morning and run and catch that flight to make sure that you don't miss the flight? Because you have some vested interest. But when we have a spiritual interest, our endeavors in the spiritual achievements will automatically come. Only reason why we are lagging behind is we lack that curiosity and enthusiasm. What makes Valmiki and Tulsidas ji special? Because they had the curiosity. Tulsidas ji had the enthusiasm and curiosity and loving and liking for his wife. The same liking he diverted towards God, towards Lord Ramchandra ji. And that's it. He became the great Tulsidas ji. Whoever it may be, people generally, maybe people come and tell, since his wife scolded him, he became a devotee. He became the Tulsidas ji. If that was the case, I think every wife scolds her husband. So every house there should be a Tulsidas ji. Every house there should be a Tulsidas, because every wife somewhere or other scolds her husband, or points out some mistake at him, drawback. So even he should also become Tulsidas ji. Why that doesn't happen? Mind you, first and foremost, that enthusiasm, that curiosity should be existing inside you. It's like, you take a candle or take a diya, a small lamp. There is no oil. There is no oil in the diya. There is no wick inside the diya. Whatever, how many matches you may light, it cannot light the diya. But if there is oil existing in the diya, there is a wick existing in the diya, then the minute one spark comes, the fire burns, the lamp burns. Similarly, we have also got to have that curiosity, that enthusiasm. Then the spiritual master can light the spark. If even many people say, sir, I have a guru for the past 10 years, 20 years, but I am still the same. I have not changed. What is the problem? The problem is the spiritual master? No. What can the spiritual master do? If there is no oil in the diya, however matchsticks you may light, it's not going to light. There should be some content inside you, and the only content which Shastra says repeatedly is enthusiasm and curiosity to know. Rest, everything is easy. Lord arranges everything. You don't have to even go running for a spiritual master. Spiritual master bumps in your life and he starts guiding you towards God. And so he told Tusidaji, go there to Kashi. Remember, the one who comes the first to the class, to the katha, and one who leaves the last. He is the one who is Hanuman. He said, thank you, I got the clue. I'll go and get him. So he went to that designated place, and there Tusidaji was still ahead of everyone who could come. And there he saw one old man, covered up in a blanket, kambal mein, chehra bhi dhaka hua, and it's totally covered up. And he came and sat down in one corner of the pandal. And then everyone came in, then the lecture started. Then after one, everyone left. This fellow was still sitting there. This person was still sitting there. So Tusidaji went to him. Said, Baba, you're not gone? I'm an old man. I'm already crippled, and I'm deteriorated body. How can I go? You leave, you go. He said, no, I know where to go, but I know I found what I wanted. What you found? Well, I know you are Hanumanji. That's why you're telling me to go. You want to be the last person to leave, but I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to catch your feet. You got to help me. I said, what do you want? Then he says, I want to have a darshan of Lord Rama. He says, you want to have the darshan of Lord Rama? Fine. You are really enthusiastic about it. Then he says, go to Chitrakoot. He tells him, go to Chitrakoot. So all the way he came from there to Chitrakoot. So what do we understand from the two stories what we heard today? There has to be some endurance. There has to be some enthusiasm. And there are some tests also. Getting God is not easy. Becoming an IIM or an IIT is also not easy, right? You got to slog. You got to spend money. You got to spend your brain. You got to slog a lot. And then finally, after so many years, becoming an engineer, a doctor is possible. You can't say, no, I'm going to relax in my cushion and I'm going to become a doc. I'm going to become an engineer. It's not possible. The same way applies to a devotee also. If you want to achieve the audience of the Lord, you have to have efforts. And when people generally come and ask me, sir, you say Hanumanji is available in every katha. Or wherever Ram Katha is there, it is said, Yatra Yatra Vrata Kirtanam, Tatra Tatra Pratikamaskanjalim, every place, Hanumanji is there. So, to see God is not our problem. To develop the vision to see God is our problem. I'll put it in a very simple, blunt, day-to-day language. Suppose your car gets some problem. The car doesn't start. Your engine doesn't start. So you open the bonnet, you see many things. You see the engine, you see the radiator, you see the battery, you see many things, but you understand nothing. You call the mechanic, and the mechanic opens the bonnet. The same car, the same bonnet, everything is the same, but now he can't start seeing things. इसी सर आपका ये कार्बोरेटर खराब हो गया, आपका ये खराब हो गया, वो खराब हो गया, वो बदलना पड़ेगा जब तक आपका गाड़ी ठीक हो. So what does this mean? Is he more educated than you? In fact, he may be less educated to you academically, but he has got the knowledge about car. He has got the eyes of knowledge. Vice versa. Let's say you have a X-ray film or a sonography plate in your hand. What do we see? Can we see anything spectacular? Can we see a fracture in a X-ray film? But the same X-ray film, for us, it is just a hazy black and white plate. But the minute it goes in the hands of a doctor or a radiologist, immediately he says and says, yes, there's a problem here, there's no problem there. Then what's so special? Why you can see the same? He's got the same eyes what you got. No, he's seeing through the eyes of knowledge. So if you want to see God, if one wants to develop the qualities of seeing God, you got to develop the eyes of knowledge, eyes of blessings of acharyas, blessings of guru. Without those blessings, without the knowledge of eyes of knowledge, one cannot see God in any way. However you may endeavor to see, you cannot see. Forget about God. Even one cannot see himself clearly. Because unless and until if you don't come to an understanding that you are a soul, and Lord is the super soul, one can never have this understanding clearly that he wants to see the supreme God. So thus, Valmiki inquires from Narad Muni, and now Narad Muni is going to start speaking. So from verse number from verse number 8, Narad Muni starts speaking about the various qualities or the person who is existing with those qualities at that time, during that time, in this loka, in this world. So here, what do we understand? The last verse 1.1.7, Narada says, O sage Valmiki, the qualities which you have mentioned are many and rarely found in men. However, I am aware of one who has all these qualities. Please listen carefully. And then from the next loka, your actual Moola Ramayana starts. Now, what is the Moola Ramayana? The Moola Ramayana is consisting of the entire Ramayana in a gist. The first chapter is consisting of 100 shlokas. The first chapter of Valmiki Ramayana. The first Sarga chapter means Sarga. Sarga 1 consists of 100 shlokas. And these 100 shlokas are considered to be the Moola Ramayana or the fundamental Ramayana. And it covers the entire Ramayana in a gist form. The entire Ramayana we'll be discussing in a very fast forward, like a trailer, like a movie trailer, it will come. And from this, what do we understand? The Moola Ramayana is so important. It is said, if one doesn't have the time to read the entire Valmiki Ramayana, at least try to read the Moola Ramayana. He gets the same benefit of reading the entire Ramayana. So that is the main purpose of it.